So guys, this is a topic that a lot of people are panicking about and a lot of people are just kind of more nervous about right now in 2022. It's a topic that I feel like a lot of channels aren't discussing on YouTube that I haven't seen as far as print on demand goes, inflation and small business in total. You guys might be stressing out right now and you may be like, oh my gosh, the prices are increasing. Does this mean that a print on demand business can be profitable in 2022? Does this mean that print on demand is going to be dead going forward? What does inflation mean as far as print on demand goes? How do I still stay afloat and rise above my competition if I'm creating a print on demand and Etsy store or print on demand and Shopify store in 2022? There is good news, guys, with all that is happening with inflation. The inflation rate of last year in 2021 was 7%. Although all this inflation may be going on, there's still businesses thriving and doing their best with all that is happening in the world right now. The good news is for you guys is you guys can rise above inflation and kind of stay within your competition while raising your prices. And we're gonna go over that in this video as well. However, we're gonna go over some common myths and some things that you guys may be worried about as far as that goes. And I'm going to hopefully stop all of your worrying in this video alone. Anyways, guys, with print on demand, one of my favorite products that I personally sell is called the Bella on Canvas 3001 t-shirt, and I will show it on the screen here, but this specific t-shirt used to run for $8.75 with Swift POD if you didn't have the Printify premium plan. Now, recently, they upped these prices to be $10 with Swift POD. However, Monster Digital used to sell their t-shirts for $9.21. Now they are selling their t-shirts for $9.82. So with all these price adjustments, print on demand companies such as Printify have been raising their prices from up to 30% up to 50%. However, for these two specific examples, these really didn't increase to that extent. So you may see a lot of the numbers on print on demand companies saying that they are raising their prices 30 to 50% only because they are giving their employees raises due to inflation and products are more expensive for these print on demand companies. So that's something to factor in when these print on demand companies are raising their prices. And I think it is definitely a great thing for them due to the raising prices, the increased cost of living just throughout the United States, throughout the world. This is just something that's just going to happen with inflation and it's normal. And a lot of companies are experiencing it. A lot of businesses are experiencing it. And the beauty of print on demand is we don't have any inventory. So when we're putting money up front, we're not spending thousands of dollars just to have overhead that we may not sell. Because the other thing with inflation is a lot of people are buying less of what they want, which is usually print on demand items, and they're buying more of what they need, which is toilet paper, TP, food, groceries, gas. So all these other things that people need, they're buying more of, and they're buying stuff that they want, such as print on demand items. And print on demand is a very want-based category as far as that goes. A lot of people buy print on demand items for gifts, especially if you're selling on Etsy. So these are the differences between the two and how inflation affects us as a print on demand company. When you're designing for print on demand, you're generally designing for things that people will want, not things that people will need. So this is a difference that affects us when there's higher inflation and also when gas prices are increasing like it is now. So what this means for you guys, especially if you're starting a new print on demand store, I don't want to worry you guys because people are still buying items. They're just buying less of them, and that's not a bad thing. In business, there's always dips and there's always heights of business. So we may be in a dip area right now, but that's nothing to really worry about. I still get consistent sales. My sales have went down just slightly recently, and that's normal, especially around this time of year. When you come around summertime especially, that's when you generally see the least amount of sales. However, when Q4 hits, and Q4 is October, November, December, that's when you will see triple the sales that you guys may see now. And with this current dip in sales as far as volumes go due to increased inflation and gas prices, that's something that is to be expected. And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't not start a print on demand business in 2022. If anything, that should give you a more more reason to start a print-on-demand business in 2022, because no matter what, when Christmas rolls around, people are still going to be buying presents for people that they know. And print-on-demand items, when you're selling them, you're generally selling a t-shirt for $20, and gifts like that are still very less expensive for people to purchase for their family members, rather than more expensive gifts when Christmas time runs around, if we are experiencing still this increased inflation and maybe people aren't getting raises like they should during this inflation period. So guys, that's something that I just wanted to get out of the way for those of you who are worried, and these are just normal things, especially with business. I can't stress that enough for those of you who may be a little bit worried and might say, hey, why should I start this print-on-demand business when the market's saturated, competition's high, and all of the above? And let me tell you guys why in this next bit here. So guys, one thing I really wanted to go over in this video specifically is why you should not panic as far as inflation goes. There's so many reasons. I have it all on bullet points on my iPad here. So one of the main points I wanted to make as far as inflation goes is that when you're selling on Etsy, Shopify, or any other website, the most important thing to realize is that while you may be increasing your prices on your store or on your website, your competition is increasing their prices as well. And that's something that's going to happen throughout many businesses right now during inflation increases. So keep that in mind when you guys are just selling your items, that your competition's increasing their prices too. Now guys, I know a lot of you are thinking, well, if my competition already has low prices and lower than myself, what does that mean? Will they even buy from me since we're all raising our prices and their new low price is lower than my price? Now, let me tell you guys something about psychology and what has proven in my store and many other stores I have seen that are successful on Etsy. First of all, when you are pricing your items, you do not want the highest priced item in your competition. Second of all, when you are pricing your items, you do not want the lowest price item among your competition. You guys might be thinking, why is this? What's the point of pricing it low? What's the point of pricing it high? I want a high profit margin, but I don't want a low profit margin. And that's when you want to price your items in the mid price range. This is the beauty of Etsy or Shopify print on demand, is there are people who are maybe making $1 profit margins when they're selling their items for $12 to $13 right now. And although that might be great and all, although they may be hand printing their items themselves and shipping it off to the customer where they have lower profit margins, the thing is they are paying much more with their free time. This is what I teach in my print on demand courses, is that when you guys are creating a print on demand business, yes, you may have lower profit margins than a handmade business. However, you are saving your free time and people are exchanging their time for an income. And as much as good of a business model that is, what's very important is when you guys are doing your own print on demand business model, you want to have mid price ranges. So if your competition at the lowest is pricing their t-shirts and sweatshirts at $12 to $13, for example, that's my competition, you want to be pricing your items between the lowest sale price and the highest sale price. So as far as I've seen on Etsy for t-shirts and sweatshirts, specifically t-shirts for this example, people price their items as low as $12 to $13. Sometimes I've seen people in the $10 range. And for a lot of customers, when they see prices that low, they do think that since these are priced low, then maybe it's the reviews, maybe it's the quality of the t-shirt, maybe the quality of the t-shirt just isn't that great. And although they may have a lot of reviews saying it is great, in people's minds, especially for me when I'm shopping, I notice I do this, that if something is priced super low, to me in my head, I associate that with being a very low quality fabric, maybe the t-shirt's made out of, or maybe the design is low quality and this is why it's the cheapest on the market. However, when it comes to high priced items, a lot of prices are too high, and to me it seems like people are just price gouging, and I don't want to buy from that specific person because I know I can get something at a discounted rate or a less expensive rate for basically the same quality and just as good of a design on a t-shirt. So hopefully this explains it to you guys, but When you're pricing too high, people can see that you are just trying to make an insane amount of profit on an item that has the same quality as someone else in the mid-range values. So you want to price your items at the middle of that range. So if someone's pricing items at $10 to $13 and you have someone else pricing items at maybe $25 to $30 per t-shirt, you want to be in the middle of that range, which is $17 to $22. And that's what I have priced all my t-shirts at, and I sell plenty of t-shirts every single day. I sell about 15 to 30 t-shirts on a given day, and that's how I stay within this price range during inflation and price increases. So with inflation and all, one thing that I really wanted to mention to you guys is that when you are increasing your prices, a lot of people are scared that their customers won't buy. However, just about everyone knows right now that inflation is happening, gas prices are raising, grocery prices are raising, everything all across the board is raising in prices. So it's to be expected if you raise your prices. And the other thing is with these prices raising, people are hopefully getting raises along with the prices increasing. So that's something that I wanted to touch base on as well. If you're currently working in a job that you have not seen a raise within the last year or so, you should be asking for a raise, or you should be looking at other jobs that will give you that raise, because right now the job market is so open for you to go from one job to the next, or at least compare your salaries to a comparable employer and ask for that raise, because right now you should be asking for a raise if you aren't already. Personally, at my job, I work at a hospital, and we all had, I'd say, about 20 to 30% raises. And that's something that you guys should be getting right now as far as that goes. And if you aren't, you need to be asking for that raise, because inflation is so real and a lot of people aren't facing their bosses to say that. And don't be scared to ask for a raise. Saying inflation as a reason for a raise is the best thing that you could do for yourself right now, because it's so true, and we have numbers and statistics to prove that there is an increased inflation rate. So don't be scared to ask for a raise, guys. That's something that I love to kind of get on my little shoebox and talk about, because everyone deserves a raise in some sense, especially when inflation is happening all across the world. Don't be afraid to ask for a raise, especially when you could use it right now with increased gas prices, increased inflation, all that has to do with that. So guys, the next thing I wanted to touch base on, that we have addressed inflation and how it really is right now. We have gas prices as high as $5 up to $6 almost now, and this is something that's real, and it's something that you need to be aware of when you own a business or a small business or a print-on-demand business. However, it's not something to panic over. We don't need to panic over this, because it's just a normal ebb and flow of the economy. It's a little bit extreme right now, but this is just something as a business owner we have to deal with, and we have to deal with in an ethical and normal way. So how should you respond to these price increases? And I know a lot of you may be thinking right now, well, I'm going to increase all my prices maybe by 20 to 30%. And really, guys, it's not that simple. So one thing I want to mention is you need to increase your prices realistically. And by realistically, I mean do not price gouge people. A lot of companies right now I have seen over the internet are price gouging their customers. The simple way of explaining price gouging is charging your customers way too much to reflect inflation rates. And right now I've seen it with a lot of companies. People are increasing their prices $10 to $20 when they sell an item that's only $20 to begin with. And that's unfair to your customers. It's causing panic. It's causing people to increase their prices even more across the stream, and that's something that you guys should not be doing. Don't price gouge. You don't need that much profit, and I know you may feel like you do, but you want to stay within your competition, and you want to have realistic prices set for your customers that they can purchase and you can sell a lot of, because if you increase your prices way too high, then you're not going to have any customers at the end of the day. So don't price gouge, guys. I can't stress that enough. So guys, the way that you really want to increase your prices right now is to the same extent that your print provider has increased their prices. So for example, for me, I use Swift POD and Monster Digital with Printify, and they have increased their prices about $1 to $1.50. So in response to these price increases, what I have done on all of my items is I've increased my prices $1 to $2 in total. So this is really easy to do on your Etsy account. If you guys have an Etsy store or if you have a Shopify store, there's bulk actions you can take to increase your prices. For Etsy, you can just select all of your listings and increase your prices by $1 to $2. It's really that simple, guys. And this basically offsets that increase in inflation that we see, the increase in production, the increase of product prices that we're spending as print-on-demand small business owners. And this is the simplest and easiest way to do this without price gouging and upsetting your customers, maybe increasing your prices to an uncomfortable place for your customers. We want to have sales at the end of the day, and setting your prices way too high is just not going to work. And you want to stay within your competition. And I've noticed there is some people who I have competing listings with who have their items super low still and haven't increased. However, you will be losing profit over time that you could have gotten if you just increased your prices to begin with. So don't keep your prices at the same level. Just try to make sure you increase your prices to reflect the current market price increases. And maybe your competition might not be doing that, but the thing is they are leaving a lot of profit on the table that they could be making and they should be making right now. So guys, in conclusion of this video, I hope you guys know the main takeaways of this video, that I want to address the situation currently happening, and I want to kind of calm a lot of your guys' worries and tell you that print on demand is still a thriving business. I still make well over a few $1,000s every single month with print on demand, and you guys can still do that too. Don't be scared of the current market prices increases. And if anything, if you want to make that extra side hustle or that extra income, do print on demand. It's a great place to start. People are still purchasing items. They haven't stopped just due to inflation and all that is happening in the world. Yes, people are being more money conscious, but they're still purchasing items and gifts for other people. And that's what I focus on my Etsy shop, and that's what you guys should do too right now. So before you guys leave this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, join my print on demand Facebook group where you guys can talk amongst yourselves, get advice and tips and tricks over print on demand, and learn what I can give you guys as far as print on demand and Etsy goes and Shopify. All of that I cover on my print on demand Facebook group. I ask you guys what you want to watch next and what videos and content I can create for you guys, so you are learning and getting all that you need to create a successful Etsy plus print on demand business or Shopify plus print on demand business. So the last two things I want to leave you guys with is, first of all, don't price gouge. A lot of companies and businesses are doing that right now, and it's just unfair to your customers and a huge turnoff to your customers who want to purchase your items. Second of all, do not panic, guys. I know this is a different time and we will always experience new things. I mean, most of us, we're going through a pandemic. We've been through the worst of a pandemic, and this is just a new thing that we are going through. But if you're owning a small business, don't panic, because that's the one thing that will hurt you in the long run. Many businesses get through inflation and economic turns, so just keep going with the rate that you're at. Keep posting new listings. Keep your prices relatively realistic for your customers. And at all costs, try to remember to just not panic, don't worry, and maybe watch some more of my videos. Join the Facebook group, talk together about certain things that you may be experiencing and your issues with print on demand. Maybe you need advice with your print on demand store. There's so much that we answer in that group below. Don't forget to check out my other videos on YouTube, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Stick around for my blooper reel. So guys, I have to go in front of this so it's not showing my shoes.